Okay.
Life.
So so I wanted to, here's a good, you were talking about that, what's Rabbi, who spoke in the Shtiebel? From Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Elephant. He was saying that Rabbi Elephant spoke in the Shtiebel. He was talking about like being more grounded. And then he talked for the BMG guys, he talked about being a little more spiritual. So I want to, a lot of my terrorists, I want to make sure between these two like this. You can give the same speech to everybody. So this week's parsha is an amazing place to understand, one of the biggest things people talk about to the Chizuk people, the Thank You Hashem crowd, is the Choshen. The Choshen is like the ultimate Thank You Hashem thing. Everybody, every shaver has its own stone, its own value, its own color, its own on the Choshen. Right. Everyone knows that every and that they use that. That's one of the biggest makayers for the individuality, the chashivas of every person. It's probably the best way to talk about that. But what they're neglecting is that the names of each shevet were written on a different place on the Kohen Gadol also. Where else were the names written? This week's parsha, the Choshen and the Avnei Shoyam. The Avnei Shoyam were on the shoulders, on the kisvois ephod, and the ephod had straps, and on the shoulder straps of the ephod, on top of each one was a black stone, not colorful, and all of the shvatim were written together on the same. It was 2 stones, so it was 6 and 6. So it's literally the opposite of the Choshen is colorful, pretty, beautiful stones. Everyone has his own, and on the kisvois ephod, the Avnei Shoyam, called Avnei Shoyam va'Avnei Miluim lo ephod v'la Choshen, right? It's a pasuk. Dichli Truma, right? It's about I can be in parsha when collecting the gifts. Avnei Shoyam, Avnei Miluim lo ephod v'la Choshen. Yeah. So, but they're opposites. So what's the symbolism of the kisvei sa'ephod? How would you reconcile that machlekes? The kisvei sa'ephod have black stones, and on the black stones, all the names are written together in a group. And on the Choshen, it's colorful, beautiful gems, and each one has one shaven on it. So the idea, but there's an extra halacha. What's the extra halacha? What?
Why do I have to have the shed for green yellow? Is that like a misconception I have?
I think so. Maybe you're right.
The colors for black?
I'm pretty sure they're black here. Yeah. I could be wrong. Would not be the first time. Let's see. Avnei Shoyam va'Avnei Miluim lo ephod v'la Choshen. Avnei Shoyam, Shoham stones. Rashi, what does Rashi say? Okay, it doesn't say. Look into Tzava.
Gemini brings 3. Gemini says that Gemini brings 3 different ones.
What color? 3 different opinions. What color they were?
There was the black onyx.
Yeah, okay, that's probably what.
Or beryl, which is a yellow green. Or it says something from Josephus, it's a sardonyx, which would be red and white.
What's in the cover and stuff?
Yellow.
The Septuagint.
What's Targum Shiva?
That's what they translated the Torah into Greek. Let me see here. Let me see the ephod. L'kachta shtei avnei shoyam upitachta oleim shmois b'nei Yisrael. The pasuk tes. What does it say here?
Medrash Rabbah. Medrash Rabbah says it was black.
Okay, whatever it is, but all the names are on one stone. That's for sure. So they want to, and where are these stones? They're on the kisvei sa'ephod. But then look at the description of the Choshen. This is what I think is the cool thing. What's he say? Choshen, Mishpat Masay Choshev. Basically, if you look, the whole description of the Choshen is like this. V'sisa ala Choshen, shar shirois gablos masay ovois zot. V'sisa ala Choshen, shtei tabo izov, should have two rings. And v'lasata, and in the two rings, on the edges of the Choshen, you attach the rings at the end of the Choshen, and you put the two straight ropes, golden ropes, into the two rings on the edge of the Choshen. And the other end of these ropes, you should put on the shoulders of the ephod. And you put rings over there on on both sides, on the ephod and the Choshen. Oh, you use a what do you call it? Psil techeles. There's a psil techeles that attaches al cheshaviv v'lo yizach ha'choshen me'al ha'ephod. The choshen cannot move from on the ephod. So basically, the choshen will be stones. The ephod had this attached to the shoulders of the ephod, where the avnei shoyam was this golden rings and this blue string, and the blue string held choshen. And it's a mitzvah lo yizach ha'choshen me'al ha'ephod. So the way I learned it up was like this: is that there's two different avodas. There's a heart, the choshen that says it sits on Levi on his heart, and on the heart you have all the colors. Everyone's special. It's all thank you Hashem. The heart, but there's also shoulders. The shoulders are the opposite. The shoulders are a man. You got to carry. You got to like suck it up and do what you have to do. On the shoulders, there's no individual. All the shvatim are together. It's a black stone. There's two opposite mahalchim on the kohen gadol. There's the shoulders, the avnei shoyam, where there's no yachid, you just faceless, no individuality, no self-expression, no what's the lashon I heard that? No, it's like it's not a new phrase, but I just heard it from somebody. It's called self-care. Self-care. I love it. There's no self-care. The Choshen is saying, suck it up. The Avnei Shoyam, the kiss voice, the shoulder straps of the ephod say, just suck it up. And the Shoyam says, no, go self-care. Even go to the spa, go to your therapists, and that's it. But the rule is, now you need both. That's what it's telling you. But the most important thing is this psil techeles is lo yizach ha'choshen me'al ha'ephod. What does that mean? That you can have the choshen and you can focus on individuality, be all lovey-dovey and thank you Hashem. But it can't move from the ephod. First, you have to have the kiss voice ephod. First, you have to be a man, and then once you have kiss voice ephod and you're a rock, now you can have the choshen. But the choshen is, you can't have one shmuz from Mori Shtibel and one shmuz for the Kohen guys. Everybody has to get both shmuzim. But first you have to know, you have to be a rock. And then you can talk. The people who get involved with the lovey-dovey stuff without getting up in the morning, without being workers, without being disciplined, it ends up just being, it's enabling, and it just ruins you. You have to start and look at the psukim. It's really what it's saying. The longest description in the Big Day Kahuna is this string that attaches the choshen to the kisvei sa'ifod. The most important thing. It ties the begotten together. You need to have rocks on your shoulders with no focus on self, and then if you have that, then you can tie the choshen to that. And that's the shon. I have the same exact word. I don't know if you ever did it in Akev. The parsha of Akev starts off Akev Tishmon, and the last pasuk says, if you do all this stuff, Akev Tishmon, then Kol Mokoim Asher Tidrach Kaf Raglechem Lochem Yu. Every place that the sole of your foot will step will be yours. So it sounds like poetic. It starts off talking about an Akev, which is the heel, and it ends off talking about the Kaf Regel. But like it sounds like it's saying the same thing, but like in poetry, you change the expression. But it's not, because they're literally opposites. The akev and the kaf regel. What's the akev? The heel. What's the kaf regel? The kaf, the palm of the foot. It's the arch. And they're opposites. The akev is the most callous, hardest part of the guf. It feels nothing. That's what the akev is. You dosh ba'keva. You don't feel anything. You just the akev. The most sensitive part of the person is the kaf regel. You want to tickle a kid, you tickle him on the arch of his foot. It's the most sensitive place on the guf. So it sounds like all mystical that the hardest part of the guf, the least feeling and the most feeling are right next to each other. But it's not mystical. It's scientific. Why? What's the reason? What's the connection? Why is the arch so sensitive?
Never sees hard work.
Why? Because the heel gets all the brunt of all the activity, and Mela, the arch can be safe and be all sensitive. That's the same exact word. Of course, it's good to have a kaf regel, sensitive and feeling. But the only way you get a kaf regel is how? Is first you have to have an akev. The akev creates the kaf regel. What happens if you don't have an akev? And you'll never have a kaf regel. Because your foot it'll have to touch the ground. The most pure, that's sort of Nashira, that article I just read you. That the innocence of children is the engine. When you protect kids from being hurt, then they end up being innocent. But you have to have, it's the pasuk. When you have strong, high walls, when you strengthen the bolts of your gates, the children inside will be kvetched. It's not two opposite approaches. People literally think it's two opposite. That's the way it's sold today. There's old school Mussar, and then there's Chizuk. And it's a war. This is what divides Klal Yisrael. Half the world is still saying Mussar, and they don't like all this newfangled stuff. And half of the world is with the newfangled stuff, and they're triggered by anything to do with Mussar. And the answer is lo yizach hachoshim ala iflin. What creates the kaf regel is the akev. It's the same word. Is that you need that? It's literally a shutfus. If you only have the ephod without the choshen, it's such a dry, empty life. If you only have a choshen without an ephod, you're just a flake. But true sensitivity comes from having a akev. And that's the halacha. That's in the Zipashal. Le'yizach ha'choshim ha'leifod. I think it's a very, very important Torah. Like the most important Torah for today. Me'aleifod. The choshen cannot move off the ephod. Has to. No, the choshen cannot. It can never exist without being attached to the ephod. It has to be hanging off an ephod, suspended on an ephod. You can't detach it. It can't be detached from the ephod.
You're saying like it seems like you can't have a chayshon without the ephod, but the way that you pasuk sounds more like you can't have the ephod without the chayshon. That's a big difference.
First of all, they could both be. Why?
True.
They're both true. They're both true.
The way the pasuk says it.
They're both true. They're both ugly.
Yeah, the way the pasuk says it is saying don't go and be all intense without the chayshon. No.
I know. You have. You're triggering. Not triggering that sense. You're triggering an old Torah of mine that it says, Parshas Nasai, when they're counting the tribes, the Shvat, and then they're counting the first Parshas Nasai, and then whatever, when they're counting the Bnei Levi, it said, Al tachrisu eshevat mishpachos hakahasi. You're not allowed to separate kahas from Gershon and Merari. And I had the same thought then. Is it that kahas can't be separate from them, or they can't exist without kahas? The same idea. Whatever the role that it could be the role that kahas plays. Yeah, the role that kahas beautiful. The role that kahas plays is the role of a choshen. Why is Gershon Merari called Merari? Bitter? Because they carry all the heavy stuff. Kahas carries the aron. They don't have any. Like the current carries them. Like the kahas has all the beautiful cushy job, all the beautiful things, the menorah and the aron, and the crushing, the beams and the adonim are all carried by Merari. So Murori is the shoulders, and Al Tachrisu et Shevet Mishpachos HaKahasi Mitoich B'nei Levi. Al Tachrisu, which parsha is that? Bamidbar. Bamidbar. Pretty sure it's Bamidbar. Let me see. Al Tachrisu. It's what's weird is that it's Nase. You can show you. You want to look up the word Al Tachrisu? Because the weird thing is that Al Tachrisu, it's a different parsha. Meaning the Torah, as it says Al Tachrisu, it's separating them. Of what? Yeah, okay. So here, the first thing is Nasa. Perak Dalid. Al Tachrisu et Shevet Mishpachos HaKasi Mitoich HaLevim. V'zoi Sasalem Chayiv Lo Yimusu B'Dishim LaKadosh Kadoshim. Yavoyi V'samu Oisam Ish Alav V'Desoy V'Lasoi. And it doesn't count them till later. Meaning it just, you see, if you look in the end of Amidbar, it counts, maybe it counts cost there, but it counted, it's all in the same parasha, but it counted Gershon and Merari in the beginning of the parasha, and then it talks about other things, and then it comes back and it counts the Bnei Kas, and it says Al Tachrisu. It's fascinating, but it's the same sugya, I think. It's a good that you brought it up. Anyways, so it goes both ways. I have no problem saying it goes both ways. The point is that
it's aIshma discussion after we get this place we see the both point. The question is, was a bigger issue? That's too much intensity, or that's too much inspiration?
You know, it's like the lady who asked Ovadia Yosef. Asked Ovadia Yosef. The lady asked Ovadia Yosef, "What's better, to wear pants or to wear a miniskirt?" So what did he answer? He said, first change the question to which one's worse. Good stuff. So that's what I'm saying. So we're not saying that don't glorify either choice. The answer is both. Which one's worse? To have this one alone, not which one's better. It's not half empty, but half empty, half full. It's a big difference. I think
it's better. It's less worse to have the reflection because of the not part that have reflection.
Yeah, but it's a famous, what do you call it? It's a famous Hasidic word where they say like this: if you had to buy a horse, the Baal Tanya says it. If you wanted to buy a horse, and there's two horses. One horse is a bucking bronco that nobody could ride. It's just crazy and built. And the other one is this like chiller horse that just lies on its back the whole day eating flowers. Like it doesn't even stand up. So which one you buying?
The Bronco.
You gotta buy the Bronco, right? So which one's which over here? I'm thinking the Broncos. What?
It's not because Penske is very limited. It's very.
I hear you could sell it both ways. You could sell them both. Well, how do you?
Everyone's just gonna go. It's the gears. Everyone's asking the horse that's chilling. It's not workable. You're not inspiring the horse to get up.
Yeah. You definitely want the Bronco. The question is which one's the Bronco. My position is that you're right. So the answer is if you can look at the chiller guy and see Bronco with him, then you could say you're away. But most people will look at the chiller guy and will say he's the guy with the flowers. That's what most people would say. There are chiller guys who are just really deep. And they can't focus in yeshiva on this one little daf of Bava Kama. They need bigger things. That's a Bronco. I'm willing to say that he could be a Bronco. But the Pashup shot of most guys, and thank you Hashem.
Most inspired guys are not Broncos.
What?
Most heavily inspired people are not Broncos.
What is heavenly inspired? You're saying inspired or inspired? Inspired. It's important you say. You know, if I say this on tape, it's a bad thing to say on tape because it's force of points. I'm going to say one thing. I want to say one.
You saw the new calendar that they go over?
Let me just ask you first before we start. Did we ever do? Did we ever do the vert on the mizbeach versus the ramp?
Yeah, Rams versus steps.
Yeah. That's the mizbeach. What? And the orange. What? That's what I wanted to add because we skipped truma. We did 2 weeks ago. So I was telling you, what did you ask? That I wanted to tell you that was the share on that.
Well, we should do a panel discussion.
Oh, you said that's what I said. You said
Taking the welfare.
you could take welfare if your goal is to know everything. So that was the point of the cable car. If your goal is to know everything, then you take the cable car. If your goal is to earn it, the journey. Yeah, and to the menorah is both. Okay, you want to do
some Purim?
Do a little Purim?
Like a separate video?
What?
Separate video?
When we what?
Separate video?
Yeah, stop it. Let's do it.